Yeah, charity starts at home. Number 7, pursue what is meaningful, not what is expedient. This is a good one. And allow me to simplify for those of you who maybe don't have the sophisticated vocabulary that Brother Peterson has. He's saying, do what means something, not what's quick or not what's easy. He writes, life is suffering. Now, mind you, again, this is not a Jordan Peterson idea. That many of the Stoic philosophers, Marcus Aurelius, they really settle on this idea. The book of Genesis tells us that there's no easy way around this. So quit looking for shortcuts and start reading Nietzsche. Now Nietzsche, another great philosopher. And one of the phenomenal things about scholars in general is they're often referencing other beautiful minds. Nietzsche has a great work. Now let's see how much I can remember from way back. I want to say Beyond Good and Evil. And there's also this concept of the inversion of morality. Meaningful philosophical perspectives to look into. But at the end of the day, if you don't want to become a nihilist, let's simply say life involves hard work, especially if we're talking about success. It involves drudgery and toil. Now, granted, the fruits are quite nice. Sometimes you work hard and you don't get success. It just turns out that's how life is. As a man, this is something that you should anticipate and be able to deal with. What Peterson is suggesting is that you fortify yourself, knowing that life's not fair and life can be challenging. So much of what you hear today is complaint by snowflakes and social justice warriors who think life should be so much easier and it should be fun for everyone. Everyone. Money for you, free college for you, free healthcare for you. It doesn't matter that you're a fat slob that smokes cigarettes and drinks alcohol and never exercises and inhales Big Macs from McDonald's. It doesn't matter. I want to pay for your healthcare even though you're committing a slow suicide. Yeah, it's crazy. Now, carrying on. Number 8, Peterson writes, tell the truth or at least don't lie. Well, it'd be great if he shares this with these hoes because these hoes are out of control. This is a meaningful thing. And the most important part of this life truth that Peterson shares is that you should tell the truth to yourself. Number 1, first and foremost, most of us are lying to ourselves. That's the worst lie you can tell. That's why your body isn't as it should be, because you're telling yourself, I look okay, even though you don't. We are not being honest with ourselves. I was talking to a young lady and it hurt my heart because I didn't have the heart to correct her. I said, if you had a whole stack of money, what would you do? She said, I'd probably go back to nursing school and then do X, Y, and Z. And I said, okay, well, why'd you drop out of nursing school? She said, because, I was married and then I got a divorce and then, I could no longer afford nursing school when I got the divorce. And I said, okay, well, today, being that you have less money, being that you're not married, can you get financial aid? And she was like, oh, well, I guess I could. So that goes back to my original question of what would you do if you had a stack of money? She's using the excuse of not having money when in reality, she could go back to school now. She's not telling the truth to herself and it's inhibiting her progress. Probably you are doing the same thing. I know I do it all the time. I'm not honest with myself. And also I like this last part, which is don't lie. Sometimes you might not tell the truth, but at least don't make up a lie. It's always better to remain silent if you can. This is great advice in life and also when dealing with the police. Number 9, assume the person you are listening to knows something you don't. One thing I can honestly say that I deeply admire about Dr. Peterson is he is a very humble man. At least from what I've observed, he's remarkably humble, especially for someone who's so highly intelligent. And me, myself, I struggle with being humble, especially being an African-American from Los Angeles. This is not something we specialize in. But I think it's a beautiful thing to be humble. But one thing I'm great at that he's identifying here, which is the concept that you must look at every individual and see that they have value and see that you can learn from them. Even a homeless person has something to teach you. Sometimes the only lesson is what not to do, but be attentive to that lesson. That's a meaningful one. Number 10, if you've been following me for any amount of time. Matter of fact, did I do my intro? I didn't do my intro. Hold on. Did I do my intro? Folks, let me know. Can someone confirm if I did my intro? I got to get some sleep. I don't think I did do my intro. So I'm going to go ahead and do my intro right now. Marquett Burton, the saint and the sinner, giving you lessons from a pimp. Oh, I feel so good. I feel refreshed now. Okay, let's get back to it. Number 10, be precise in your speech. Now, this is akin to the previous rule, which is about honesty. When you're precise in your speech, you have conveyed true understanding to the other person, and you also are going to have a better time in life. Why? For example, my assistant, I said, tomorrow, can you pick me up at 8 a.m.? I didn't say, can you pick me up in the morning? And when I say 8 a.m., I mean 8 a.m. You'll notice high achieving people and low achieving people speak almost two different types of English. High achievers are precise in their language, accurate in their diction. Low achievers are imprecise. They're always talking in fuzzy concepts. Things never get done because they don't set deadlines. Deadlines are precise and specific. This task is due Wednesday of next week, December 28th. Those are important things. I highly advise you to be precise as much as possible. And even when you're dealing with your spouse and an interpersonal engagement, you'll have much fewer arguments if you all are communicating clearly. It provides a common base called understanding. Carrying on, number 11, do not bother children while they are skateboarding. Let's elaborate on this one. He writes, this is the rule that's the real catnip for the right-wingers everywhere who want to know why the world is falling apart. It's because liberals are turning boys into girls. Dr. Jordan Peterson, bruh, you ain't never lied. This is so true. We are in an era of gender confusion, and it is by design, ladies and gentlemen. I assure you, when I was a young man, we didn't know the concept of tranny, and I'm still relatively young. This is a concerted effort by the hyperliberal gay mafia LGBTQ propaganda machine in Hollywood and Netflix, which is feeding you a steady diet of Will and Grace type characters and all of these I'm struggling with my sexual identity type characters. And you'll notice the greatest attack is on the black male because the black male is hypermasculine in the perspective of the hyperliberal person. How do we know? The black male's the hip hop guy, right? The rapper, tough guy. So they're trying to destruct that image. And if you saw The Wire, for example, which was a famous HBO series, there was one of these guys, one of the toughest guys who always carried around a shotgun and used to murder people named Omar. He was also a closeted homosexual. Why? So that they can take this like powerful black male figure, this dangerous alpha male, predatory, tough guy, and make him a homosexual. So you can say, oh, you know, even he can be an homosexual. Anyone could. And that's what they're teaching you. Number 12, in Jordan Peterson's Rules for Life. Number 12, pet a cat when you encounter one on the street, which is essentially a metaphor for saying, don't let life pass you by. Take time to smell the flowers. Enjoy the goodness and the simple things that are in front of you. And since he quoted Nietzsche before, actually he didn't quote Nietzsche, he referenced Nietzsche. I'll quote Nietzsche, and let's see if this brain's still working. I believe that Nietzsche wrote, simple pleasures are the only refuge for the complex. Let me know if that's correct. This is just, you know, I've had so few intellectual conversations. I got to dust off the brain. But I think the quotation is something like, simple joys are the only refuge for the complex, which is to say that for real thinkers, being able to enjoy simple things is sometimes, you know, those pure, easy to consume joys is really what you should look for, right? We have all these crazy things going on in politics and COVID-19. And me, for example, I still really, truly enjoy going to get my car washed. Like, it's the simplest thing in the world, but I love to get my car washed. Those have been Jordan Peterson's 12 rules for life.